Easter Yearlings Stake. And for all the 2-year-olds, good race too. Over the 1100 metres on the poly track. There is the start for you. Number 1, Big De Niro, Isai Footen, barrier 3, is up 3 kilos. Dash for Win, Danny Beasley, gate 6, no change to his body weight, 490. Divine Power, Joe Marira, barrier 2, a newcomer, weighing in 527. He's a big heavy horse for a 2-year-old. Irish Lightning, Burren Vorster, barrier 8, is a newcomer, 461. Lucky 88, barrier 5, is down 3. YF Leong, the jockey. MORDI is a newcomer. John Power to ride, barrier 4, weighs in at 496. Zibir Easlam, barrier 7, weighing in at 467 for his first start. And Beyonce, Jay Siamese, drawn nicely here in gate 1. She's down 2 kilos on her last start, weighing at 443. Here's some track work for you, and Dash for Win is on the outside of MORDI. And I didn't think there was much between the Michael Friedman trained pair. Dash for Win has had the race experience, the grey horse, but MORDI on the inside, he's trialled well, he's won a trial, and both horses have galloped nicely, so I think you've got to respect both horses here. Here's Irish Lightning. We're just showing some slow work here. He won a trial on Tuesday in pretty smart time. He looks a well-prepared youngster here, having his first start with the 2 trial wins under his belt, so he deserves to be the favourite. He's by Rocket Gibraltar and looks very hard to beat here, Irish Lightning. And here's Beyonce. She's on the outside of Stephen. She's continuing to do it well on the bridle, and she's got that race experience under her belt. She's drawn nicely here in gate number 1. She might stay on and run well here under Siamese.
Right, well, let's have a look at the trial of this horse, trained by Pat Shaw, Irish Lightning. Very impressive trial here. Not a quick time, 63.4, but it's the manner in which he gets it done.
Lightning out about 3 or 4 lengths in front from Awakened. Then came a further back Packer Punch, just given a reminder there by Vorster. Then they were being followed by Eye of the Storm, who's coming down the outside, but it's Irish Lightning who led by 2. Under a good hold in second spot, Awakened with 100 metres to go, and they were clear of Zabir, who's making ground. Then came Divine Hero, but in front it's Irish Lightning, and Irish Lightning's going to win by 2.5. Awakened second. Third Illusionist followed by...
Yeah, certainly did enough at the trials there. Irish Lightning suggests he's going to be a prominent player here as we gear up for a very good race for the 2-year-olds. That's coming up next. Okay, so in the parade ring now for this 2-year-old event, which is race number 7. And the English Easter Yearling Stakes over 1100 metres. And first up, Big De Niro, who we have had the benefit of seeing in the past, and his runs, Frosty, I suppose, are probably just moderate, just average. Moderate trial, and he raced wide there on debut. He finished back in 5th spot and he was beaten almost 10 lengths.
Yeah, he hadn't arrived long in Singapore, and he had a bit of a rush preparation for his first start. So in the end, Matt, there was no surprise to see him finish down the track. He's had more time to settle into Singapore now, so we've got him down as very much a likely improver here. Not overly fancy on the dividend board, $208. He's actually put on 3 kilos, so not taking too much ill effect from that first start in the race. Just looking at him, he still looks like he still might need another race or 2 under his belt. Don't think he's quite ready at this stage, Big De Niro. It's by Strata. He's behaving himself nice and well in the yard, which is always, you know, good for these 2-year-olds. He's not getting stirred up at all. But I think he's going to need a bit more racing before he gets into the top 3.
Okay, Dash for Cash is the name, and the colour would suggest is by... Well, his name's Dash for Win. He's by Dash for Cash. He's 46 and also 10. Dan Beasley has ridden the horse in a trial and at the races, and he finished 3rd behind Kaiser recently.
Yeah, I thought he stayed on quite well behind Kaiser at his first start, kept working to the line, seemed to do everything right. His trial form going into that race was okay, and I do think that he has improved, you know, since that first start. So I think he's a horse you really got to give a good chance to here. Looking well here in the yard, and his body weight's the same that what he weighed in for his first start, 490 kilos. He knows what it's all about, so it looks like he's ready to get on with it here in the yard. And a good chance here for the top 3 with that race experience, going to give him a good advantage to run a big race.
Here's Divine Power. He ran 5th in a trial behind Irish Lightning, and then followed it up the week after with a 6th in a trial, so 5th and a 6th. Have you seen any of the trials or anything of the trials, Frosty, to lead you to believe he can win here? He's 95 and 20.
I thought his trials have been all right, Matt, but probably, he just probably hasn't been quite tested enough at this stage and shown enough for mine. I think he's going to improve with this run under his belt. Looks okay for a horse weighing in at 527. He's the heaviest 2-year-old here in this field, but he looks okay in proportion. I think he will improve with a bit of time. He's got a good experienced rider. I like the fact that Steve Burridge has booked Joe Moreira to ride the horse. And I think he'll run a nice race, but I think he'll improve further down the track. And I don't think he's quite ready to win it his first time to the races.
Number 4 is Irish Lightning. Familiar colours, of course. Fred Crabbe's colours will be worn on Rocket Man later on today in race number 8. But first things first for Fred Crabbe and Patrick Shaw. They've got this promising-looking 2-year-old, and I've been pretty taken with his 2 trials thus far. He's had 2 and 2 wins, one in 61.8 and one in 63.4, which we saw that recent trial back on the 17th of February.
Yeah, and he does look in great order in the yard too. Not overly big, but he's a nice, neat little horse by Rocker Gibraltar. I think he'll continue to develop into a nice horse. I like the fact that he's shown good gate speed at the trials. He's a quick little horse, and he'll need to be quick here too, because he has drawn the outside barrier 8 in the small field. But I think he's just been too impressive at the trials. He's looked strong at the finish all the way through his trials. We showed you the replay of his trial. That was his first trial win. His trial on Tuesday was actually better than that. So he picks himself here at the trials. Looking at him in the yard, he looks great. So he's the one I think most people will be going with, number 4.
Moving on to number 5, Lucky 88. Just had the 1 race start and finished 4th behind Cash Luck. So not a bad performance, Frosty, and wasn't beaten overly far. Wyeth Leong remains in the saddle here. He's not overly fancy though, 150 and 37.
Yeah, and he's a lightly framed horse, trimmed up 3 kilos from his first start. Not a bad run at his first start, because he sort of went into that race at big odds. Wasn't expected to do well, but I think he might have surprised a few people getting into 4th. Not a bad run by him behind Cash Luck. I still think he needs to improve a fair bit more. And even looking at him in the yard, he's still a little bit on the immature side, but he's got that race experience, and he might be just one for you, a bit of odds for a place chance, one for your quartet or something here. He's number 5.
Mordi's a colt. Saddle clock number 6, trained by Michael Freedman. He has had a couple of trials, and the best of those was a win. He defeated Sergeant Pepper, who himself looks like a nice type, but Mordi, 2 trials, 1 winning trial and a 5th behind Carry the Flame. He was beaten 6 1/4. I didn't think the second trial was as impressive as the first, to be honest, but maybe they had different ideas for him, because they did get a winning trial out of him, and then perhaps different riding instructions second time round.
Yeah, I think he's done enough at the trials, Matt, to run a big race here. Geez, I like him as a type in the yard. He looks like he's going to be a nice horse here for Singapore. Lovely individual. He's by Tycoon Ruler, the same sire as Dictator, who's a pretty good young horse. He raced very well on the poly track. I like his appearance in the yard, number 6. I think he's going to run a big race here and make it interesting at the finish.
Yeah, he looks nice, that's for sure. Here's Zibir. We did see in that trial that we showed of Irish Lightning, he was one that was making ground over on the fence, and I know he finished 7th, Frosty, but I think he just showed that he had a little bit of a finishing burst on him. I think he looks quite well, 82 and 27, and he might be one to consider at odds.
Yeah, he's fit looking at him in the yard. He's a leggy type. He's by to here. Usually they're a bit more a solider type of horse. He's just a little bit leggy. I think he's going to develop in time. He doesn't look quite ready at this stage, but and he looks like he's a bit green on the training track. However, I think as an individual he's going to do all right in time. Might not be quite ready to win it his first time to the race, and he'll improve with this run under his belt, but like you pointed out, you might just want to put him in for 3rd or 4th here, Zibir.
And Beyonce's kept safe, 24 and 9. She's a handy enough filly. I don't think she wants to go any much further at this stage than the 1100 metres, Frosty, because she hasn't been overly strong at the end of the 1000-metre trips. 24 and 9 for her. What was your assessment?
Yeah, she's got race experience under her belt. She shifted off the rails last time and let the winner kick up on the inside, Cash Luck. I'd like to see her try and, if she could stay on the rails, she might be able to stay on and you know, battle it on all the way to the line. She finished 3rd last time, but I thought she can get into maybe 3rd or 4th here. She's got the experience under her belt and she's perfectly relaxed. She's got good gate speed, so you know, some of these having their first start where we're expecting them to hit the ground running, but sometimes it doesn't work out like that, having their first start as 2-year-olds. At least she's proven, and I think she's a good chance here for the top 3, top 4, Beyonce.
All right, thanks for that, Frosty. So they are the runners for race number 7, and the field of 8 to run. We're getting more and more 2-year-olds into the system, and it will be good when a few of these runners have their first start and they start meeting each other, last start winners and so forth coming up against each other. But just the third 2-year-old race of the year, the English Easter Yearling Stakes, and the field heading out for this event. I'm going with Irish Lightning. I think certainly has done enough with the trials to win this. Dash for Win can improve, having its second run at the races. Number 6, Mordi, very good trial. First time at trial. The number 8, Beyonce. Given that she's had 2 runs already, she's finished 4th and 3rd. I think it'd be foolish to leave her out of the first 4. So I've gone 4, 2, 6 and 8 in this event.
Okay, Matt, I've gone with numbers 4, 6, 2 and 8. I've gone with number 4, Irish Lightning on top. I think his trials have been good enough to see him win it his first time to the races. He's got good gate speed, and like I said in the article, he'll need to use it to get across from barrier number 8. But the thing I liked about his trials, he's looked strong all the way through in his 1,000-metre trials. He's won both of them, and turns up here over 1,100 metres. This will be Patrick Shaw's first 2-year-old runner here in our series of races so far, and Burren Vorster to ride. I think they'll get the money here with Irish Lightning. I thought Mordi looked very well in the yard, nice looking individual too, so I think Donna Lansdowne and her team of owners that are involved in this horse, they do have a nice horse in the shape of Mordi. He's by a Tycoon Ruler, and I think he's going to run a big race. The other Michael Friedman trained runner here, which is Dash for Win, got him in there for 3rd. He looks like he's improved a bit on the track since his first start, and with that race experience under his belt, and Danny Beasley to riding, expecting him to run a big race here, Dash for Win, and then number 8, Beyonce. She'll be up there on the speed, and I think she'll stay on and finish somewhere in the top 4. But I've gone 4, 6, 2 and 8.
Good on you, Frosty. So a very strong push here from all the broadcasters for number 4, Irish Lightning. A couple of trials, Craig, thus far, and a couple of winning trials as well. Are you going to put the fave on top?
Yeah, I think it's clearly the one to be aboard here, Irish Lightning. Looks very well prepared. Its trial on Tuesday suggested it's right at the top of its game here for its first start. If there's any concern, it's the wide barrier draw, but it was able to lead at its first trial pretty easily, so expected to show good gate speed here and be not too far away from them. I thought number 6, Mordi, had done enough of the trials. His first trial, he didn't begin all that well, but he showed very good acceleration. And the next trial, when he ran only 5th, he wasn't allowed to show any acceleration. They anchored him at the start. In the end, they tested him in the home straight, and that might have just been a little trial to throw people off the scent. If you were just looking at the last 200 metres of the trial, it looked a little bit disappointing, but I thought his trial was still very good, and suggested to me that they knew what they had, and just kept him quiet the second time to the trials. I think his stablemate Dash for Win, also from the Friedman yard, can improve on his first run. He only had the 1 barrier trial going into that first run, and he came out and he stayed on very well, probably better than he looked like he would stay on near the top of the straight, so expecting him to run a good race here. And I thought Beyonce has plenty of speed, but maybe the 1,100 metres might see her out here, but put her in for 4th. So 4, 6, 2 and 8. 4, 6, 2 and 8. But Irish Lightning here for Pat Shaw and Fred Crabbier in the familiar black and red colours. And no doubt the champ Rocket Man's making his way into the paddock for the upcoming event, race number 8, the RDA Cup. So we're very much looking forward to seeing him in around about 35 minutes from now. But on screen there, Irish Lightning, horse number 4, and Mordi in the green colours. He's at $38, and Dash for Win at this stage is the clear second elect at $29. But odds on for number 4, Irish Lightning, 4, 6, 2 and 8 for me in the English Easter Yearling Stakes, race number 7.
Thanks, Craig. Back in about 4 minutes' time. There's number 7, Zibir. I think he trialled okay, and thought he looked nice enough, but maybe a little bit more maturity to take place for him. And obviously, given that he's only a 2-year-old and he's by to here as well, he'll take a little bit of time, Zibir. So the field down at the start. And these runners for the RDA Cup are coming down in front of us now, Frosty. And has Rocket Man appeared yet? I know one of his stablemates came out. Either Dr. Lemon or Amadeus Mozart was kicking out, but I'm not sure if the champ's there yet.